So what are the critical components of a risk assessment? Is IDing a lot of things, actually. It's IDing the scope, it's IDing the overall risk that you might have, but I'll get into that here in a minute. And then IDing team members for actually all of this as well, because that's really important. But anyway, let me go back to the scope. And I talked about scope a little bit, but I want you to identify the boundary of the risk assessment. Is it going to be the overall server farm that you have in your particular organization? Or is it going to have some other things about maybe an application that deals with this? Your scopes can be very, very different, but we need to identify them. And we need to make sure that we lock them in place. I think there was in this chapter, I can't remember, was this chapter or another one, a scope can have creep, meaning it can move into something else if you're not careful. It really should be done, well, you need to make sure this scope doesn't creep into other things. You want to identify a scope, you want to focus on that scope, and hey, if there's something else that needs to be, then it needs to be another risk assessment for that particular item, or even better, and again, this is a process supposed to happen over and over again, maybe next year we include this, or maybe in 6 months we include this, that type of thing. So again, this is not a one and done process. It's meant to be, the book is stating like you're doing it for the first time, but after that first time, we're still going to go through. We still have to ID critical areas. Some of these may change, like a web server, hardware operating system, web application, your database server, your internal firewall, and your critical data. Now, by the way, some of these items may change because maybe you outsource them. And now that's their problem. You have done that mitigation saying, look, let's let them take care of it. They can do their risk assessment. We need to make sure if we're hiring these people that they have done a risk assessment, and what are they going to do if they have, well, screwed up, let's put it that way, or somebody exploited a vulnerability. So these critical areas is for if everything is in-house, but these may change after time. So it's worth, again, a continual review over and over again to make sure, hey, if something's changed, then our critical areas will change too. Also, with members, the team should not be made up of the same people who are responsible for creating and correcting the issues. Now you're probably like, well, wait a minute, but they might be the most knowledgeable. You could still get feedback from them, but they're going to have a word that frankly comes up a lot in research and other things called bias. They also might have a very narrow scope of what the overall problem is because of just where they are in the hierarchy of their overall organization. So again, are they still a part of the process? The answer is most definitely yes. But should they be the ones writing about it? Probably not because of their bias.